I'm absolutely staggered by the difference between what is now happening in the world, which on the whole is a disaster, and what could be happening.
Large numbers of human beings are unable to buy their food.
We have a world population at the moment of about 7 billion, and of them about 1 billion are estimated to be chronically undernourished, while another 1 billion are overnourished and are in line for diabetes and heart disease and all those other horrible things.
And I think even this year you must have seen a lot of pictures running showing people in the northern Kenya dying of hunger.
The big leaders of the world Millennium Development Goals, World Food Summits have made commitments about reducing hunger in the world by half.
We already produce in the world, in the way of food, 4,800 calories per head, which is enough actually to feed twice as many people as we now have. We're already producing enough calories to feed 14 billion people. So feeding 9 billion by 2050 shouldn't actually be hard. So why are these people saying we need another 50%, or even some people are saying we need twice as much as we do now? Actually, it's for commercial reasons, but I'll come to that later.
So we ask a question which we have been asking ourselves as small-scale farmers. Who feeds us anyway? Because we make the 70 to 80% of the population in Kenya who live in the rural areas and are farming our small plots. And surprisingly, it happens that we are the ones who are even feeding the populations who are living in towns.
70% of the world's people rely upon these small mixed quasi-organic farms at the moment. So this industrial farming of the kind we now have now, which is supposed to represent the future, actually is a minority pursuit. It's called conventional, but it's actually a minority support. But that's where all the money's going, that's where all the research funds are going, and so on and so on and so on.
And the other thing is how disconnected the vast majority of people are from where their food really does come from, obviously apart from the supermarket.
Now, the powers that be, government scientists will tell you that can't feed the world. We need industrial systems. That is nonsense. The small, well-run farms, when they're properly supported, are at least as productive, in fact more productive than the industrial kinds, and they're much more sustainable.
You have to do farming in a way that will not degenerate your land and reduce production. You have to do it in a way that it increases productivity, and that can be done.
First of all, by being very, very diverse. Diversity is the name of the game. And with diversity, you get a wonderfully efficient use of resources, and you get synergies. You get the different crops, the different animals, or in the wild, different plants, different animals, working together. So diversity is the main thing. It's very low input, nature. Nature only uses really what's around. And it's very, very integrated. Everything feeds on everything else. So the question is, how do these things of integratedness and diversity and low input translate into farming? And they translate in terms diversity equals polyculture equals very, very mixed farming of genetically mixed creatures. Integrated means a properly run integrated farm of the kind you see all over the world, reached its height in Britain actually probably in the 1950s and 60s, now replaced by monocultures and so on. But in a properly run farm, there's no waste. Everything feeds on everything else. And the whole business of low input translates in farming terms into organic. And if you ask the question, can we feed the world with organic farming alone? Well, calculations have been done, and the answer is yes, you can.
Y ya en el 2000-2008, que se empieza a consolidar más las prácticas agroecológicas y con bajos insumos, vean que la producción se multiplicó por 3 o más de 3 con relación a cuando existían todos esos insumos.
And how do we grow our own food? One of our principles in the Ngoma campaign is own seed, our own seed. We have programs to make sure that farmers keep their own seed, harvest their own seed, share the seed, in whatever manner. And even now, the maize, because it is a popular product, we have partnered with an agricultural research institution who have developed our own local variety seeds. And now we have our own local variety seeds, which is not hybrid. When we grow it as the farmers, you can replant that seed again, and you can repeat it 2 to 3 times, and we can exchange among ourselves. So we are very, very keen about seed.
Pero el gran inventor de la agricultura urbana en Cuba fue el hambre.
We have, having worked with farmers for long years, we looked at what farmers were trying to do when they do the agriculture. When they don't have money to buy fertilizer, they have to work without using external fertilizers. When they don't have money to buy pesticides and weedicides, they have to try and manage to do this without those inputs.
Yo vi personas sembrando en macetas en el balcón de su casa plantas para comer.
Why, given that it's obvious on biological grounds and I would say on moral grounds that we need small, mixed, integrated, etc. farms, very, very labour intensive, why do governments and government scientists and government employed economists advocate and promote the complete opposite, using our money? Why do they promote systems that are as big as possible, that are as simple as possible, in other words, are monocultural, that is as high tech as possible, putting in as much in fertilizer and so on as possible, exercises actually in industrial chemistry? Why do they support that? And the answer is, actually the answer is, it sounds crude, childish, but the answer is money. Money and power, centralization of power.
The worst government we have known is our own country government, who do not want to uplift the standards of living for the farmers and even access the food from the farmers and take it to the areas that the food is not there. They would rather see that they import the food from wherever than to buy from us as farmers, because in that importation, they are the ones doing it through their cronies and what have you. So they are making a kill out of importation.
The whole world at the moment is plugged in. It's not simply a matter of capitalism, which isn't necessarily the great evil, but it's plugged into this particular model of capitalism known as neoliberalism, known as the allegedly free market, where everybody is supposed to be in sort of all-out competition with everybody else, and the race is on, whatever business you're in, to make as much money as possible.